Now, we use something called the TENT model, T-E-N-T model in our speed training. The first T is technical. And there is a technical component to running. There's a best way to start, accelerate, reach maximal velocity, decelerate. These are all things that have to happen in speed training to improve technique throughout the year. So coaches, if you've got a high school athlete and you've only got 3 or 4 years with that athlete and you decide to only run a handful of weeks out of those years, you've relatively done no training for those athletes over that period of time, and that makes absolutely no sense. So technically is the first reason why you've got to be training all year, because you can improve that. The E is energy system or metabolic training. Every one of your sports has an energy system demand on it. And weightlifting is not going to supply the needs for that demand. So speed training throughout the year, or a great portion of the year, is essential to make sure that you're working that energy system component. The N is neural. For anybody that's never or taken a number of months off and then run at full speeds, the next day you are wiped out, not just muscularly, but neurally as well. And your rates of force and contractions are not as fast because the nervous system has not adapted to the slow movements that you've just been using in the weight room. So I have to tell you that the nervous system is one of the critical components that has to be used throughout the year to make sure that those contractions are fresh. And then finally, a very important T is body tempering. Tempering to me means that you're actually creating adaptations in the connective tissue, in the muscular system, in the nervous system when you're doing speed training that can't happen while you're in the weight room. So the weight room will produce soreness, but you're never going to move at the velocities and the angles that you do when you're doing actual speed training. So it's essential that this takes place throughout the year. Think of when seasons begin. What are some of the most common injuries you see? Shin splints, hamstring pulls, hip flexor injuries. Well, if weight training was enough, all of these would be avoided, but it's not. So the body has to be tempered throughout the year to make sure that it's prepared to do the things on the field too.